Testing audio. Seems alright. Seems okay so far. Ew. Something very different. Something very different. But I didn't feel like being alone for a little while. So, here I am. With my shitty ass camera. And whoever's out there who happens to have a little free time. I like Star Wars. And I like Lego. I like Star Wars ships. This is my second favorite ship. It used to be my favorite until a little old movie called Rogue One came out. And the U-wing would still my heart forever. Something about the troop carrier, I don't know. But short of the collectors, the collector's series version of the slave one, Jango's slave one, I settled for the much cheaper option with a gift voucher. I love this ship. And you know what? So do lots of people. Also, hand reveal. How weird's that? You guys like that? It already got weird. But anyway, Jango Fett. Man, Jango Fett. My favorite bounty hunter in the entire damn saga. He is the man. He is the best. What a shame. But sometimes the best characters don't last that long. And that's okay. My partner, her favorite, when I got her to watch through the entire saga, her favorite one, still, is Qui-Gon Jinn. Followed by Anakin Skywalker. So I guess that lines up somewhere. Oh, wow. Alright. Plenty of stuff to do. Shitty ass little camera, but you know what? Maybe it makes it a bit more authentic. Man, stickers. Wish they'd move on with stickers. Just print them on. I know it's part of the process, but I don't know. Stickers don't last. All the stickers I see on Lego that I buy seem to, you know, peel off eventually. Does that happen for everyone? Or is it just me? Ooh, that's loud. Loud in my ears. Can't imagine how loud it is in the microphone. But yes, the slave one, man, I think captured everyone who's heard its heart. Because, man, what a fucking ship. The reason I like it so much is that it's different. Ships across Star Wars are pretty much the same in their category. You look at like the Star Cruiser and all the Star Cruisers, they are more or less the same thing. That's going to stay like that until the very end, by the way. It's just this habit I have. Because as soon as I put together as a kid, I thought, then they're alive, so you don't want them to wake up and they don't have anything to do. Do you? Toy Story messed me up. But, more or less, ships in Star Wars are pretty much all the same. There's a few, I guess, you could say, exceptions to this, but not really. It has been a pleasure to see all those ship designs come to life, especially in the last 10 years or so regarding Star Wars. I'm a big fan of the Twilight. That's very unorthodox. I like the A-Wing, very much so. And I'm a big fan of the Snowspeeder because the Snowspeeder was one of the first Lego sets my father ever got me, my dad. And I totaled it. He also got me the ship from episode 1 that they that they drive with Jar Jar beneath the waters, of course. Jeez, I'm messing it up already. Beneath beneath the waters of Naboo. He got me that, and he had to rebuild it that many times that, oh, Dad, I'm sorry. But I always ended up breaking it because I had to play with it. And the actions were real, and they crashed and they would explode, and yeah, man, simpler times. But above everything, beyond it all, there was a ship that stood out the most, and that was the Slave One. It landed weirdly, it moved differently, it flew differently, it was harder to hit, it was just different. Which is funny, because technically it's more of a target, because more of it's showing instead of everything being on that vertical axis, the horizontal axis. I don't know if I'm saying that right, probably not. But instead of a flat outwards, it was up, which means there was more to fire at, especially from people firing at you from behind. And yet, I loved that ship. Oh, how I loved it. I've got the collectors for, it was gifted to me by a very, very generous friend, for Boba Fett's Jango, my god, for Boba Fett's starship, the Slave One. But that is currently not receiving the love that it deserves, packed away. So I thought, yeah, get another one. You don't have room for the collector's one you got, so why would you not just throw it all out here? Well, that's very simple. Because I love this damn ship. And it's funny, right? It's funny because I didn't love it in the original trilogy. It was, Boba Fett was just another thing to me. So Jango did to me, growing up with the prequels, what Boba did to fans like my dad. They I loved him, man, to death. The gripes, I think, with the prequel trilogy are so unjustified it's not funny. People don't even know why they complain about them anymore. Jar Jar is not that bad. Even to this day, I never had a moment where I was like, that's not that bad. And I'm death scared of, like, hopefully having kids one day, and then they say the same thing about, the same thing about the sequels. Because I, myself, I believe am objectively not a fan of the latest chorus in the song that is Star Wars. I thought episode 7 was a love letter, man. I thought it was a love letter to the Star Wars that we know and love, and it was almost a way of saying goodbye. And I actually really wanted new Star Wars. Different directions, different stories, different everything, really. Something that we could really look out at and then be proud of that it came to this point. But unfortunately, my personal opinion is that in trying to, go against expectations, they ultimately destroyed the legacy of 3 characters. Well, maybe 2 characters. Of 2 characters that deserved a lot more. And it's a mess. It was. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just trying to get it out there. And they more than made their money back before The Force Awakens even came out. Like, the merchandise did so well. And that's our fault, It's a case of build it and we will come. Build it and they will come situation. We rocked up for it. And I enjoyed knowing that Rey was fumbling around with a lightsaber, barely holding her own against a very injured Kylo Ren. And don't at me at that their fight. Kylo, yes, is a cut above, I think, what most students are, like Anakin was. But after seeing what the bowcaster, Chewie's bowcaster, did to so many people, before the point in the film where Kylo takes a hit and he doesn't even move, man. He just kneels down and takes it. Oh man, getting hit with that thing must suck. Like, they made a point of showing you what it did, you know. I think it was justified there. The way they balanced that out, the last fight at the end. Though I would have loved to see Finn have a better go with it. Yeah, he was stitched up, man, big time. But yes, I thought episode 7 was something truly promising. I think Rey is wonderful. Daisy Ridley, for her first feature film, right? She killed it, dude. She absolutely nailed it. I love Rey as a character. I just don't love what they did with her by the end of it, right? It's okay if she was different. I thought she was actually going to go a much darker route. And then they were going to lead into more stories. Like, new ones, essentially. Like, I don't know. Maybe Rey was almost a counter Luke. She went into much darker territory and left the universe worse than when she began. Which you expect that, the same story arc of Luke. Someone destined for far more than what he got. Being picked up by the most unlikely of heroes, which is one of my favorite kind, by the way. People that aren't heroes becoming heroes. I love those stories to death. I'm such a sucker for those, even though they're cheesy and lame and annoying, and just something about them that you can't beat, man. But to take that whole arc with Luke, someone who is, you know, inherently good, someone who has so much passion for the universe, for life, after seeing what he's seen, with, you know, yeah, in a story that is full of faults, a lot of them, and some poor script choices after character developments. We have a genuine hero that fights the good fight because he wants to and not because he has to. And then to take that and to turn it into someone who, and this is my fault, right? Because we ate up The Force Awakens. I know it split people for a bit, but the money it made doesn't justify, like, the end result of that. We ate up a story that matched too familiarly with the original trilogy. Because the prequels were different. They were completely different, man. It was a passing of the torch in the right ways. But then, when we loved The Force Awakens so much, we were left with a story. Molly, you're okay? Sorry, our dog is very loud sometimes. We have a story. Oh, man, what was I even saying? Damn it, got distracted. It's very dangerous for me to get distracted, folks, because I really could go on forever and ever. My main gripes at the end of the day are with what occurs in The Last Jedi. Luke was not someone, he wasn't Yoda. We never felt he was Yoda. But for him to take all the wrong lessons and the failings of the Jedi and not do anything differently, that just really surprises me. He is the next step, you know? He has a chance to do it all differently. And I know a lot of comic lines conflict with which way Luke goes, but because we've pretty much explored every aspect in Legends, right? About which way to go. And I didn't have access to Legends, which is a big damn shame. I've always meant to go deep dive into Legends properly myself, read everything I could, read which stories people were most upset that were kind of perverted and used in wrong ways for this new trilogy. But I so badly wanted an anti-Luke. someone who goes into the universe darker than whence they left it. Maybe friends die. Maybe it could have been a full circle back to the point of Finn realizing Rey's too far gone, and they clash, and inevitably he has to kill her. And then instead of another Luke, it's surprise, we had another Anakin. Because the story doesn't redo with Luke, it should redo with another Anakin per se, which I was a fan of. An Anakin clone for Rey made more sense than what we got, I think. By the way, I was so sure Rey was a clone of a clone. I thought that her vision in The Last Jedi hinted to the fact that she was not an original. There was lots of her lying in wait, incubated, tubed up, maybe just like Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games, in the second one in particular. Like, that made sense to me, and I looked forward to more. But we just didn't get more. We got some pretty spoon-fed plot that really didn't waste anything but time. No, that didn't make sense. That wasted everything but time, pretty much. I think they're well paced. I think The Last Jedi is well paced. I just don't think the story it told still sucked. And it's always going to be a 50-50 when you play with an IP that is beloved by so many people in so many ways, that just ends up leaving you empty when you finish it. You have to admit to yourself something went wrong there, because it's not fair. It's not fair to do that to fans, especially ones that will come out full swing in devotion to the thing they love, instead of, really angry, as a lot of people like to do. And that's, honestly, it's their right as a fan to be angry. It's my right to be annoyed and to think that my opinion is more factual than most. But that's just it. It's my opinion. It is as factual as I let it be. But right and wrong, and me saying, oh, I think I'm more right than someone, doesn't make sense. Because it still baffles me to this day, the amount of people that love The Last Jedi is frightening. It's terrifying. I hate that movie for what it did to the heroes I grew up with, and what the heroes. But that's just the thing. They didn't just piss off one generation. They pissed off two. They pissed off a whole plethora of people with this one story choice, and that was to make someone who wouldn't suffer the same mistakes suffer the same mistakes. It should have been different. I wish he was out there searching for a way to bring Ben back, or figure out where he went wrong. But we had a Luke that was at his absolute worst, and the problem is, Luke represents the best of us, while Anakin represents something that is destined for greatness, that is supposed to inspire us, that by the end we are just left with this god, essentially, that we can trust in, kind of like Superman. But he fails, because ultimately he's more human in the end, because he rubbed her back too. Because he falls in love. He does the most human thing ever, and that is he gives it all up for hopes that he can save something that means more to him than the universe, than everything. And Luke fixes that, it's almost like a second chance. Anakin is the chosen one, but the chosen one failed. That's the thing about prophecies. They don't predict the future, they just hint at the pieces to come. Oh, absolutely. That makes me happy. I've never owned a Jango before. That makes me very, very happy. That's cool. But in this huge, grand universe of people, right, there are so many more stories to tell, and so many more that are coming, that I am accepting of what the sequel trilogy has done. Because our reality is Carrie Fisher's gone, and we are never going to get another chance at that, and it is just disrespectful at this point to dismiss some of her last work, regardless of the state of it. It was her last work. So we take in with the good, and we deal with it as we go. What's not good, I think, is silencing all opinions on the film, telling people out of pain for what we've suffered regarding our beloved IP that they are incorrect, that they somehow enjoy everything lesser than us for accepting something which might be all they've ever known. There are new fans that are gone forever because the fandom scared them away, and the fandom goes, yeah, good riddance. And I'm like, okay, so our ideas didn't match, we didn't enjoy it, we hated it, but why on earth would you take away from someone everything we experienced? Because they are us at a time that is completely foreign and new and different, where they discover Star Wars, and it's this joy, it's this light that turns on. You have heroes and space battles and this entire lifetime of content to consume now. Like, it's awesome. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and not all of it is very good, but some of them, sometimes they make gold, right? They do. I'm talking about Rogue One. I'm talking about Master Soul and Smiler Ren, if that's what you want to call him, the stranger from the Acolyte. What an absolute joy to watch, as well as Jackie. Before you know, spoilers. Before her character's unfortunate end, we have so much amazing shit that is unfortunately clouded by a lot of mess, right? For example, the Acolyte, great characters, a whole bunch of them were just absolutely spectacular, that were completely crowded by a bunch of not so great characters. I don't even remember his name, I forced him out of my head. What's his name? He held a yellow lightsaber, and then he fell to Smiler Ren. I love calling him that, so you're just gonna have to get used to it. He fell to Smiler Ren. I don't remember his name. Man, I just wanted him to... absolutely no distaste or disdain for the actor. He was given a script and did the best he could with what he was working with. But, in terms of these real interesting characters, Master Soul looks a whole of a lot like Qui-Gon. He felt like Qui-Gon. It was like those characters that think a little bit more different than the others, and felt the things that they're allowed to feel. And ultimately, Soul is a story of what happens when you don't have Qui-Gon. What happens when you get someone who was like Anakin, but suffers this horrible inadequacy, and then seems to fail at every turn. And then when you're finally gifted that power, a chance to be more like you feel and know you are, that's what she did with it. That's what Osha did with it. But unfortunately, as a fandom, we got blamed pretty quick for not liking something that was very subpar. But it is definitely not the worst that we've received. We were so lucky to receive parts of that show. I was very much looking forward to each episode that came out, because I wanted lightsaber battles that we are getting closer, guys. We are getting so freaking close to a level of fighting that emulates what the prequels had. The Acolyte is the closest we've come. It was awesome. You cannot tell me that it was not absolutely spectacular. It was so good. The episode 5, man, we are so close to getting back to where we were, Fights that just lift you off your seat, that make you almost forget all the misgivings and failings of the shows. That's just how good the Acolyte's fighting was. It was awesome. But unfortunately, yeah, you fill it with characters that don't fit the mold in Star Wars. Um, and then there's conversations that get real dicey. Like, for example, I know a lot of people talking about there was the bigger guy, the Jedi, who was watching. Uh, sorry, where May was getting her bruise from, Kaimir's shop, and it was like, oh, okay, is it an aspect thing? Like, if they had given him a scene, I think, where he was fighting while being, of that size, I think it would have made it so much more awesome. But when you invite characters that don't fit that mold, because everyone pretty much has the same expectation of what a Jedi would look like, right? Fit, athletic in whatever desired alien form that entails. So when you introduce a character like that, that's not like that at all. It's not that that's bad. Absolutely not. Star Wars is for everyone. But if you don't follow up on that, you know, aspect, then what was the point other than just casting them? Because that role really could have gone to anyone. And there's so many beings in Star Wars of all shapes and sizes. But if you make a Jedi of that size, I want to see them flipping around. I want to see them doing all the cool stunts. I want to see them doing, epic shit like the rest of their ensemble. But he kind of ran around and they made him a buffoon. They made him pretty much incapable of acting like the rest of them. And I'm like, that's not fair because you cast him in the role. People were definitely going to talk about the fact that there was this bigger plus sized Jedi who didn't do anything, who was an idiot. And I'm like, man, how cool would it have been to see like a Jedi who's completely unsuspecting, seems like a buffoon, and then is a bigger size than we're used to, that just starts flipping around and having these epic lightsaber duels and man, dude, I wanted it so badly, but in the end he was just an idiot. I'm like, why do you make, the bigger character an idiot? Um, because ultimately anyone could have filled that role, but you went for like a comedic jolly sort of thing, and I just didn't think that was done very well when all the characters that we see later, especially the Jedi that go up against the Stranger, they, man, all their training didn't matter. They got absolutely thwomped, thwomped, I tell you. So what was the point? Because they were clearly all on the same level, except for some of the main characters. I did have a little bit of initial hesitation regarding Master Soul being able to take on the Stranger solo later on when he seemed to be having so much trouble earlier. But it's almost like I realized later, it's almost like Master Soul learned. He learned how to beat the Stranger. It was a process he went through, and by the time he came to face him again, the Stranger was off balance. He himself was ready for him that time, rather than it being a case of like, oh, he just survives because he does. That's not at all what I think happened there. I think Soul was ready and more prepared to help Osha than the stranger was to adopt her as his apprentice. Uh, but let's be honest. I'm talking about this, and yet we all know the real problem that really pissed everyone off with that show is they made an Anakin before Anakin. And as far as we know, they were alive and well for a long time, which really sucks because Anakin is one of those characters you should not absolutely not mess with the legacy of. And the idea that there was a prototype, that there was two others before him that could have filled the exact same role. Um, Also, they did her dirty. Those the bead hair. I don't. Was it dreadlocks? I don't really understand what it was. Oh man, what a terrible wardrobe design. That must have been so annoying during filming. I can only imagine the pains that actress went through, not playing one but two of them. With those wigs, it looked so annoying. She must have been um happy to do the work, but annoyed to, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not my favorite aspect of the show. I think that was a very, very weak main character. Man, we got onto the acolyte somehow. Um, I don't even know. Ooh, I don't even know how I managed that. Um, but what I can tell you is that if you look for the pieces, they're there, right? If you look at the build-up of shows that Disney have put out, um, you watch Ahsoka and you go, oh, it's getting better. It's getting better, guys. We might actually get back to a point where lightsaber fights are as epic as they used to be. And then in Ahsoka, I was like, yep, it's getting there. Like Balin, Skullman, they hit gold, dude. Ray Stevenson, I've been a fan of him from when I had seen a little old film called The Vampire's Assistant, and he plays a very good villain in that. And it is look it it's debatable if I can speak or attest to the quality of that film. But I loved it as a kid, man. I absolutely adored it. I thought it was so good for what we got. But yeah, Ray Stevenson, man, they struck gold. I'm so grateful we had someone as into the work as he was, because you could tell he was having fun, man. He was having a good time being a part of Star Wars and being in this role where he could have fun with it. Um, I do admit it sucks his character was a one that sort of came out of nowhere. Like we have no idea where the hell Balin came from. It didn't really make any sense that he just existed. The only idea I can have is that he was on guard duty somewhere, pretty much, somewhere that only he could protect. It was his job to. Wow, it's getting more colorful than I thought it looked. Um, but again, like you think there would have been mention of this character, someone who sort of feels like he's on the edge. Like he's not quite a Jedi, but he's definitely not a Sith. It's, I guess, a Jedi with the same mission, but nothing else. Nothing terribly different about him and the other bad guys, other than the fact that he has a goal and he's out to complete it. Honestly, rather quickly. In terms of the success rate of most bad guys in Star Wars shows, I know a lot of them get real close, but he is in control of the situation. He was very happy just being abandoned or abandoning his apprentice. He's whatever happens happens. It seems to be the case with him. And he didn't give two squats about Thrawn. It was very, very clear. He just needed to get there. And if we're entering like Aboleth territory and those rumors about, oh man, Kate Blanchett playing her, oh please tell me more. That is a story that indicates some level of care. A lot of level of care, actually. You know what? Because after some of the rushed nature that we experienced with the sequel trilogy, we're entering an era where at least new ideas are being tested. And now the Acolyte is being tested, and most people did not like it, so fair enough. It should then not continue. Um, but I wish there was a case where we could use the piece as well. In the case of Master Soul, obviously we have a conclusion there, and honestly, it's not even a conclusion that I mind. Like, it's an end to a character that I would say is almost like an Elseworlds tale for Anakin. Like, this is what would have happened to a degree with Anakin and Palpatine if Qui-Gon was his master. I think it's very likely that with the amount of manipulation that uh, Palpatine excelled at, we would have been given a rather awesome frickin' um, sort of build-up of seeing him turn Anakin to his cause. But beyond that, I think Qui-Gon would have discovered Padme rather quickly because of that history there. Now, Obi-Wan was there too, but if you watch that first film, if you watch Episode 1, um, man, Obi-Wan is cannot wait to sort of just be on his way away from Anakin, doing his own thing and focusing on his own career path. But this guy becomes a knight, is thrown an apprentice, and oh man, Obi-Wan did well with the time he had and what he had to do. Anakin became so promising so quickly, and I entirely think that's because of the sort of survival state the Jedi were in after the revelation that the Sith had made their return. Um, Qui-Gon made an amazing apprentice, and that apprentice did everything possible for Anakin. But in the end, love is a powerful thing, and it does in fact conquer all. But if it conquers all, then it's a pretty scary, all-powerful notion, right? That if you give a ultimatum to someone like Anakin freaking Skywalker, who's destined for greater things, and you twist it, there's no greater twist, I think, in cinema history, right? Here's the chosen one. Now, I'm gonna find what breaks him early, and I'm going to completely bend it to my will. I'm going to infect him in such a way that he can't ignore it and make him so afraid of what might happen that the only way he could possibly get what he wants, what he needs, is to trust me. This force that he has been trained his whole life to disobey. Because if Anakin, did what he did, which he did, um, then there's no chance that this guy is betraying you because you managed to make him do the utmost worst things. And why not go ahead and order him to do even worse things so that there really is no going back? And that's the story of Anakin, right? That's the tragedy, which is not every hero destined for it anyway is going to stay that way. And after the Clone Wars, man, and oh, the downfall, the man, like it was kind of like calm down, Anakin. Jesus, like like people still like you. It's fine. Don't you think you're being ungrateful? But after seeing everything Anakin frickin' did in the Clone Wars to secure them those victories over and over again, after some of the masters on the council were failing, oh my God, bro, they did him so disrespectfully. Just the fact that it was a flat out no, and that Mace Windu was so hostile towards him in that meeting, where he could even thought about kind of just requesting it, to be honest with you. Um, Anakin shouldn't have demanded it, but Anakin had so much under his belt at that point, right? Like Anakin won so many damn battles in the Clone Wars, and the idea that he couldn't even be, I guess, explained to why that couldn't happen yet. Because it was very much a case of like, we're saying no, so you're just going to have to deal with it. It's like, yeah, I'd be pissed off too, man. That's not fair. Um, man, sorry, don't want to mess this up. Oh, Anakin, man, I think he's a, just an unfortunate case of he gave everything he got and they told him, no, it's not enough. Uh, Anakin should not have reacted the way he did. He was a bit of a piss baby about what happened, but when he finally was presented with that opportunity, it was too late. They had driven him to, I guess, already search for options that meant what I love about Anakin is that not because he does everything for the love of his life, it's that he considers every consequence along the way. We are given someone in that story who is so enraptured by what he is doing and not the prophecy of himself that it's hard not to feel sorry for him. Vader is, I'll admit, an extreme result of what happened to him. It is kind of nuts just how far Anakin fell and how fast. But that's what happens when you've lost everything else. Because he knew the moment he had doomed Mace Windu to death, until Disney decides he's not, um, that it was over. There was nothing he could do that would have helped him essentially escaped that life he always wanted. He could have ended Palpatine there. He could have blamed him, but I'm sure that would have just ended up in, a long ass farce where eventually he and Obi-Wan would have been in conflict again because Obi-Wan would know, you know, you lied, you've lied about something. You can feel that pain in you, that unsureness, that wariness that people are going to find out. And then ultimately, odds are, you know, I think Obi-Wan would have protected Anakin for all his wealth, for all his work, for how much he loves him as his brother, as a son figure, as a character that essentially has been with him from the beginning. A not only a as a sort of as an oath he made to his master, but as something he needed. Obi-Wan needed to see the person that he would become. Because if Anakin was given to another student, he would have fallen to the sorry, to another teacher, he would have fallen to the dark side so much more quickly. Um, because, like, what would have stopped Palpatine? It would have been, they would have never essentially had a means to worry because Palpatine would have been like, oh, sweet, now I've got even easier access to this person. Whereas Qui-Gon, right? I know I'm ranting, but that's because I'm distracted and because I love Star Wars and I love sifting through my own thoughts. So it's almost like I'm trying to convince myself of what I'm talking about as well, just to make sure I understand what my perspective of it is. Because if I'm going to dislike something that arguably a lot of people enjoy, which is the new films, I need to understand what I love so much about the originals that points me to that conclusion, to the fact that I do not like the direction it took. Especially considering it really only impacts characters from not even my favorite trilogy. It impacts characters from an era that I was not a part of. It's what my parents were a part of, what my father was a part of, who loved it so dearly. And my father, right, is a pretty damn solid fan of the films. His favorite is not the Phantom Menace. Oh my God, The Empire Strikes Back is his favorite film. He thinks hands down that is the greatest Star Wars film, and who am I to disagree with him? Because he's probably right. Um, but when he, when we finished watching Star Wars Episode 9, right? Oh my God, it was a weird experience because I'd seen it already, and then I went back and saw it with him, and he had asked me what I thought of it. And I said, I'm not sure, Dad. Like, I didn't know why they chose some of these things. And by the time I was done ranting about it, he just said to me, I got goosebumps when she said, my name is Ray Skywalker. Ray Skywalker. And I was like, actually? Like, didn't that feel a bit. The whole film's about, accepting who you are. Don't you think she should have said that she was a Palpatine? And he saw it as, but then there's no point to her destiny if she's not the one who controls it. The whole thing was very much about a story about being who you are and not who you're meant to be. And I was like, oh, because I took it as a story about accepting who you are, no matter what that is. You are not those evil forces that might bind you to a destiny. But no, he disagreed. He thought it was a story about, and I might be making him sound more descriptive than he actually is about this stuff. Yeah, I'm way more into it than my dad is now. He doomed me to that life the moment he showed me the first Star Wars film when I was little. Um, but yeah, he thought it was a story about that you don't need to be who everyone else says you are. You just need to be who you are. And I was like, okay, but, and he was like, no, there's no but. That's just how it is. She didn't want to be a Palpatine, so she chose to be someone she admired, a pair of people that she admired, and do them honor rather than, you know, why run from something you don't want to be if you could just choose a new one, a family that was kinder to you, more meaningful to you than the one that you were supposedly have to be a part of just because you were born into it. And man, dude, I'll tell you now, that made me think way more than I should have about um oh man, about episode 9 because oh man, I enjoyed it and then I didn't enjoy it and then I ultimately decided no, I'm just trying to think too positively over something that is unfortunately a bit of a mess. And he yeah, he he just completely changed my perspective on it, which is we could have had way worse. And as a send off to Carrie Fisher, um, it honestly wasn't that bad. This idea that, you know, she did all the things she should have done, because everyone thinks Leia should have been the one who was trained. There was no reason she couldn't have been trained as well. They just kind of realized too late within the film that they could have pretty much doubled up and Vader wouldn't have stood a chance against both of his kids, man. Like, he would have caved and immediately, I think, fell into their arms, and then we would have had to kick it off with old Palpy anyway. But yeah, it's this story that she became everything she wanted to be, and then decided, or everything she should have been, like as a Jedi, and then decided that being a Jedi wasn't enough for her. Like, it's just badass, man. Like, you know what? Nah, I'd rather be something else. This feels more like me. I think that's a great damn story, man. I don't know about you, but unfortunately, in the way that it was presented, it didn't feel as good as it should have been. Have I misplaced a piece? I think I have. I like to do this. I like to fumble pieces until they're lost forever. I think I have. Um, but yeah, and then Rey does the same thing. She's like, I'm gonna be a Skywalker. I'd rather honor this than I'd rather honor that, you know? And I'm like, I if it weren't for my dad, I would have never ever seen it that way. Um, he is a genius. I tell you what, he seems rough and he's tough as hell. But my dad, man, he's got so much, I think, depth to him that even he's never really gonna know. Because he didn't say much. He didn't say as much as I'm making out. He said, but man, he had me thinking for ages about maybe I should just be grateful for what I've got. We've got Star Wars, and all right, I'm gonna use these two pieces because I seem to be missing a two peg piece. Yeah, 2x1 peg piece. No, I'm not. I'm just blind. What the hell happened there? I used the force. Um, yeah, he had me thinking for ages, man. Like maybe I'm expecting a little too much, and I've concluded that he's half right. There are stories that are fumbling things hard. For example, I love Balin's Skull. I love what they were doing in the Ahsoka show. I love lots of the fighting. However, it is still not some of the best we've had. However, um, I think Mother Talzin is one of the worst additions to Star Wars ever. I think she's a character that has suffered very much from a poor story arc. I think they were like, oh, what if we put a Night Sister in? Oh, yeah, let's have her do the bare minimum before we, kick her out of the show. And I'm like, man, you have interesting characters that could be awesome, but then they don't get that time to shine like they should, or at least shine like I think they should. Because they introduce so many characters, right? Every season we're introduced to so many characters. I was one of the people that thought Ahsoka's re-entry to the series in Mandalorian season 2 was so wrong. I hate that she survived, man, past a lot of these people. It is just, it's one thing. They've honestly just barely scratched the surface with what they should have done with the Clone Wars. Um, and bridging it so that Ahsoka lives past then. But the idea that she lives past all of these people, man, that she makes it to the end, that she, I hate that. Like it just, it's kind of a spit in the face of, oh, I see. I don't know what I was doing here. Not the right thing. Um, uh, I can't believe she's lived this long. It feels very much like we're in a state, right, where Disney characters can't be worse than old characters. Does that make sense? And lads, I've done it again. I did the same thing twice. Um, because they can't. They can't. They seem to be suffering from these amazing feats, right? That a lot of characters that we know and love never got to. They never got to this level that some of the new characters are. And Mandalorian was the best in season one, right? Season three is good. People are just mad. Fight me. Season three of Mando is really good as a Mando story. And the crossovers that kind of happen there, I'm okay with because it's cool, you know, like it's a way to look on the entirety of Mandalore without it being solely focused on Mando. But him meeting Ahsoka, man, everyone lost their shit, and I was like, really? It feels shit. I honestly feel bad for so much of what we. Where the hell is this going? Oh, I see. I missed a piece. I'm getting ahead of myself and getting distracted. Um, it just look. It's not right that she made it. It doesn't make sense in the slightest that we have Ahsoka of all people making it through to the end. Um, uh, look, a Vader's Apprentice story, which has been done, and I don't think they can outdo. So it's honestly better that they don't even try. Um, is that freaking convoluted? Hello, how you doing?
What are you doing?
I'm streaming.
Doing what?
I'm building some Lego and talking about Star Wars.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm not making any sense. If I watch it back, I'll be like, wow, I didn't finish the first 14 thoughts I had. But pretty much the state of how I feel about Star Wars. I started off with, oh, I like this ship, I'm gonna build it, and then I went, God, Disney and prequels and
First thought, why is Ray the way he is?
why
Second
is
thought,
Ray the way he is?
second thought, Hayden, yeah, that's enough thoughts.
Listen, that's actually too many thoughts for Hayden.
Yeah.
We don't want to stress him out or overwhelm him.
Did you get your things off? Your days off? I got mine off today. Or
December.
yeah,
Oh, for when Renegades came out?
yeah.
No, I don't need to do it this early.
Oh, okay. I thought you did because I thought work has to have a heads up.
Yeah, but not that early for my work. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, Ahsoka, man. It still doesn't feel right that she made it. It doesn't matter how freaking good Rosario Dawson is. Oh, we got no music. How long has that been that way? A while, I'm guessing. Um, it doesn't matter how good Rosario Dawson is as Ahsoka. She killed it, man. We all knew she was gonna kill it. But this character, man, survives far too much in a universe where characters don't get to survive to the extent that she has. She was literally pulled out of time to escape Vader. They literally couldn't come up with an excuse for why she survived Vader, so they pulled her out of time, bro. Like, that's just nuts to me. That's a ridiculous level for Star Wars to be in, where characters can accomplish such things like this. And I know it was a case of convenience and plot and not really necessarily how powerful characters are, but eh, it sucks when you know some characters just can't exactly grow. And then here's the problem. It leads to scenes like Anakin and Ahsoka's reuniting. When she goes to the world between worlds, and we get Hayden Christensen back, man, again, as him, as Anakin, as the man, you know, I just lit up. What a freaking time to be alive, where Hayden Christensen is so ready to return to the fold, and now he's apparently trying more acting stuff as well on top of that, and it's like, welcome back, man. I'm glad you could heal from that past experience, because it was horrible. But yeah, no one hates. I've stuffed up somewhere, lads. Yeah, I've messed up somewhere. But that's okay. It's the joy of Lego. We just go back and figure it out again. Man, I shouldn't talk and do Lego at the same time. I've messed up. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll do it together. But yeah, like Hayden Christensen's back, man. How good's that? And at some point, I need to stop justifying my own opinion, because my own opinion does not matter when we get the content that we've gotten. We are so lucky to be in a stage with Star Wars that I think represents how we feel as the fandom. Star Wars is good, guys. Like, we're eating good right now, regardless of how you feel. We are eating good, we are enjoying it, we are honestly in the prime of our life with Star Wars. I see where I've messed up. And I want to be able to enjoy it without being told I am lesser for enjoying it, if that makes sense. Star Wars is such a bully thing at the moment, man, and it sucks, you know. It's depressing to think that if I'm at such a disagreement, and there we go, I fixed it, lads, don't worry about it. If I'm at such a stage in the fandom where I need to like figure out what it is I'm still enjoying it, and figure out what I need to stay away from, and I'm like, wait a minute, stay away from Star Wars? No, that doesn't compute, man. Because I interact, I've had heated debates with strangers that don't matter, that I wish I could take back, because who cares? It's devoting too much time and energy to people that are only going to disagree with you, because their vision of things will always be more important than how you feel. What matters to you? What's your bit of Star Wars? What is your time? What is your moment? There we go, fixed it, because I'm a genius. I'm not, don't tell people I said that. Take what you can, because this universe, right, if it flops any more than it is in certain areas, we don't get any more. It's over, guys. And some people might call that a good thing, beating a dead horse, but like, I don't want Star Wars to be over. I want Star Wars to thrive, man. I want it to shine. I want it to be as every bit as important to me as it is for everyone else. And oh boy, hold on. We good? I think we're good. We're good. I think Star Wars is for everyone. It always has been, and it is always going to be, regardless of how many people bitch and moan and scream about their bit. But you need to do it correctly, right? If you're gonna put a plus-size Jedi in, have him doing cool Jedi stuff. Don't make him a buffoon. If you have Jedi that are going to constantly question the Order, have them, you know, essentially explain why. Don't have characters that go against the Order just because they're corrupt, or they don't feel the same way they used to, or hell, the character's just suffering in general, from a lack of plot idea. Go in full swing with characters that we want to get to know first. Because you had Trinity. You had the Matrix's Trinity in the freaking series. And with her commitment, I think, to the project she's in, man, I don't know, that's another missed opportunity. An actor that's willing to put in the work without a doubt, because she's done it. We've seen it. We've seen what she's been willing to do and put up with. And then underutilize them. Oh man, don't do that. You've got all the pieces, and people love being a part of Star Wars, man. They do. Look at what's happening. Do you know what's coming? Do you know what? Oh, man, I don't like the era of which this film is happening, but I'm grateful that it's happening. We have Ryan Gosling, of all people, jumping into the fandom, and with the films he does, he's very wary of what he can and can't do, because once you mess with something as beloved as this, people aren't going to let you forget it, and it ends careers sometimes, to be honest with you. Based on what I've seen, we make or break some people's lives. We have to be so careful with the power we wrought upon people, because man, we are so loud. We are louder than any other fandom, and when we use that superpower for, I guess, evil, in a way that doesn't or should not represent us as Star Wars fans, it makes us, I think, weaker, and then just pushes us further to that, that eventuality that no more Star Wars, we get none. And doesn't that suck more? I think that sucks more, to have no Star Wars than that was everything. I feel like I missed a few pieces, but we're not going to think about it too much. Coming along good. Doing alright for... How long has it been? An hour. Wow. An hour. I've only done 3 bags? 3 bags. But getting back to the point, right? Actually, you know what? No, maybe I'll leave that there. I'm repeating myself, and no doubt, if you're still watching, thank you, because, man, I'm saying the same stuff over and over again. I have myself a lot of forgiveness in me for a lot of stuff that goes on. As in, for Star Wars. Real life's a whole other ballpark of bullshit. We need to do new concepts, because that's how we get stuff like Clone Wars, it's how we get characters like Cad Bane. It's how we get, well, honestly, anything new. I don't think we have enough aliens in Star Wars. I don't think we have enough moving pieces in Star Wars at the moment that represent, the vast universe. Everything looks a little too earthly at the moment. All the Mando worlds seem a little too earthly. It's not that hard to believe. And I get it. What, you want them to recreate a brand new forest like Avatar every time they shoot a new thing? But in the Clone Wars, they didn't have to worry about that shit, man. Everything was just right looking. And that's the nostalgia of me, right? It is. But, like, who cares, dude? They got it so right the first time. There's so much to love about the Clone Wars. And I'll tell you what, I was affected. A little kid growing up with Star Wars, man, I love my clone troopers. I got a bunch of clone troopers on a shelf behind me, and I turn around and I go, yeah, fuck yeah. Clone troopers are the pinnacle of, I think, brotherhood and, this army-based fictional story Like, there's no one as close or as good as the clones. And they drop like flies, man, and I get it. That's the point, you know? There's just, the clones are endless. They're endless because of the way that they're created and their intended uses and purposes. And then you take that and you turn it into a family? Oh, man. And you get characters like Rex, who I think is one of the great top 5 characters in Star Wars. He is a great example who was given the most attention as a clone trooper in all the media that we've seen on screen. Um, and it makes me forget and forgive a lot. I like it when characters go beast mode within reason. Obi-Wan got a point in the Clone Wars show where he went beast mode on Maul and Savage, and I was like, where did this come from? Like, it was a scary kind of Obi-Wan. You just see the gap between him and Maul getting smaller and smaller and smaller until there's not even a gap anymore, dude. Like, Maul's been left behind, and so many times Obi-Wan could have just killed him, but he doesn't, because Obi-Wan is the prime example of change kind of growing stagnant. He is just trying to make it through the day. And I think after Qui-Gon, things never really got better for him. He was in a state of, I've sacrificed this much for the Jedi Order, I can't let it be for nothing. So it gets to a point where Obi-Wan thinks there's nothing I won't sacrifice. And this comes full circle, spoiler, when we see Maul return and end Satine's life. Satine is a character I so desperately want brought into a live-action sense, but that can't happen. And that pains me that we did not get to see a story bloom out of what they had. It was the most interesting love story in Star Wars history, man. And that's the thing, it never happened, right? It never happened. It is a story that will forever remain untold. I was so badly hoping that Rey, deep down, even though I knew I couldn't believe it because there's no chance that they were going to do it, that Rey was the product of Corgi. Oh man, of Corgi, and Satine. You know, Satine's nephew, quotation marks. I have the slightest inclination on messing his name up, but that's okay. You guys can figure it out. I was so badly hoping Rey was a Kenobi from that one regard, because it would show Disney watched the Clone Wars, they watched what's canon up to a point. They decanonized Clone Wars pretty much. They said, don't count on it. Whatever we make is the true version of things. And that sucks for people following the story, man. And then suddenly they get their show cancelled and you just have to go with it. And, oh, man. How cool would have that been if Rey was a Kenobi because of Corky? Because of, Kenobi and Satine. I think that was their strongest lead for Rey. And who cares? Like, I think they were messing about too much because I don't know, Disney's got this thing where we're allergic to letting people guess what our story is going to be about. And I'm like, who cares, dude? Like, if it's a good one, we're going to come out for it. Let those people celebrate being right, that they were so passionate, like, about the thing they were theorizing about, that they ended up being right. Like, that's an honor for a fan. That's not a pain or a horrible thing. It's just devotion. And it's getting harder and harder to become, I think, or to stay a fan that is so devoted. I'm in for life. I'm just in a state where it's not that much effort for me to remain a fan. There's little they could do to completely deter me away from it. But stories like Osha, man, and May, oh god, it's real rough. When you make stories that we adored as kids, when you make those characters less special than they are, of course we're going to be upset. Of course we're going to be up the wall about things like the idea that there was more than one more than one chosen one, but there was like a proto version of them that Anakin wasn't special at all. It's like, of course, of course that's gonna piss us off. Like, it's not fair. Like, you need to build the universe in a way that builds it up and not apart, because it makes it even smaller, that these ideas are less mystical and everything is getting told pretty much because there's no more plot points to hit. But begin anew. I'm telling you, begin anew. We'll love it. We will absolutely adore any opportunity we are given that involves new stories. Keep away from the Skywalker saga. You need to begin somewhere else. Not everything has to remain connected. And I know a lot of people feel the same way about... Oh man, it's really coming together. About the state of things. We want to be excited and nothing more. And when you make stories like the ones that are coming, I think we're going to delve into a new era of Star Wars that's not the post... What do you call this era of shows and movies that are coming that are sitting in between the prequel, the originals and the sequels? Is that the post-original era? Is that what we would call it? It needs a name because it's a whole plethora of shows and stuff now that there's enough there to sort of call it its own era of Star Wars. Like maybe the Fallout era, or no, we can't call it that. I don't know, man. I think we've only begun to scrape the surface of how much we have to look forward to. Because ultimately, right, we're getting new Star Wars no matter what. We can bitch and moan and do whatever it is we want to do in hopes that somehow that's going to change or sway opinions, but it's just not, man. Like, we have a lot more Star Wars coming and so much more to see. And I want to be allowed to be excited for that, because it's part of my life, dude. It's not one day that goes by that I don't think about something Star Wars. You know, I come home from my damn job, which I admit isn't the greatest right now. It feels like the pressure's on. To build a Lego set of my second favorite ship, formerly my favorite ship, and I get to come online and speak into the ether with a bunch of people that may or may not be able to hear me very well. I'm sorry. And build one of my favorite characters' ships, and then use that as like some sort of freaking weird therapy for myself and enjoy it too. There's nothing quite like bringing you closer to the machines in Star Wars than I think Lego has done. It helps decide what your favorites are, especially I think from a young age, because I love the underwater cruiser from episode 1 way more than I should, simply because Dad got me this Lego set when I was young, and I adored it so much that I had to recreate battles, and I had to pretend that I was, I don't know, I was included in it. Included in that magic. Which is what all of us are trying to be at the end of the day, right? We just want to have our opinions and be unique in what we love about this amazing saga. So when we get toys like Lego and the dolls and the Black Series and the helmets, like, we're having the time of our lives. We're celebrating it, and then we're bringing it into our homes and celebrating it some more. And regardless of how you feel about who owns Star Wars now, or just, you know, the concept of this grand capitalist world we live in, which I'm not a very political person, please don't take that to heart. I just, you know, like everyone does, I just wish it was a little different. a little bit easier. Um, but I still get to come home. I still get to build ships. I still get to hang out with my housemate very soon. I still get to, boast about all the shit I love. And force them to listen to me. Because it makes it easier. There's so much darkness in the world. And when you look at stuff like Star Wars, where, more than once, that universe has just been overrun with evil, controlling it, so much death and pointlessness. We are just all rebels. We are the rebels on this earth that look forward to those stories, that enjoy those stories, and then ultimately give up that fantasy to go to work and seem less, I don't know, important. It's one thing characters like Luke have told me, is that no one is as unimportant. We are everything. People like us, man, are the people that they fought for in those films. We make it all happen. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this guy talking about? Why is he going off in such random directions? No one cares about us. No one cares about what we do or how we survive. Just that we give them our money at the end of the day. And you know what? You're right. But there's nothing wrong with finding a little bit of hope in something like building Lego from Star Wars to get you through to the next day. Which is what I'm doing. You know what? Time's tough right now. Some stuff blows, dude. I'm amazed I'm still standing most days. I coped too much with this stuff. Felt too different from too many people, from the people that love me and that I love back. You find a family in the people that have found this same sense of belonging with stuff like Star Wars. And even now, even if one person is watching and has gone through my rabbling on, my unorganized random thoughts into the ether while I'm still being distracted by building this Lego, it's therapy, man. It just is. I get to put this out there forever and then be okay with that. You know? I get to be okay with liking what I like. It's only recently I've begun starting not to feel ashamed of just how much I love the media that I love. I want to be able to share this devotion for this series, for this phenomenon in the world, with hopefully, a kid of my own one day, and know that they're gonna be in the majority, that they're not gonna have missed out, that they are gonna be so excited and so grateful that Dad was such a damn nerd that he made sure that we were all caught up and that no one. What have I done? Something. I've done something. Forgot no peace. That's what I've done. And the dog is freaking out. But Jango Fett, man, my favorite bounty hunter. He is the man. I had the absolute pleasure of meeting him a couple years ago now. And I tell you what, had me worried for a second. Out the gate when he was doing signings, we were at Supernova in Sydney, I believe. And oh man, look at that. It's going. Yeah, in Sydney. And I had the joy of meeting him. And when I say joy, it didn't start off that way. What I later realized was that in the morning he was extremely tired. It looks like he had just had to get up, get ready, and had likely, maybe hell, for all I know, he came from the damn airport, right? Um, and he was so tired, man. But I thought, he didn't want to be there, and I was like, oh, don't let this suck. Come on, man. And by the end of that signing, I was trying to make a few jokes. Dad asked me to ask him if McCluskey's, I believe it's called, if they'd let him back in yet, and he didn't really understand the reference I was making, which is to other films that Tamura Morrison has been in, called Once Were Warriors, which are really intense, graphic films about some of the culture of New Zealand. And man, it's dark. Like, I had no idea until I saw those films, and it's rough. But he's brilliant in them. He is absolutely awesome. And given that New Zealand's our sister, across the ocean, we share quite a good rapport with them as an Australian. Talking like I'm an ambassador or something. But we have so much love, I think, is the best way to describe it, for New Zealand, and it's what it's given to the world. Best trilogy in existence was filmed there. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, still perfect to this day. I still watch it, and I still see some of the very brief, shoddy CGI, and I'm like, no, they did well, man, through and through. More power to them. Peter Jackson, you maniac! Thank you for still to this day setting the standard for filmmaking, and how consistently amazing film should be. um, which is that trilogy. My friend adores Peter Jackson's um, Kong film, King Kong. I'm getting so way off base. It's gonna take a minute. I don't have to talk constantly, but I do have to take a breath. My asthma is not great. Asthma is a killer, so if I talk too much too often, it doesn't end up in a great time for me. Problem is, I love to talk shit out my ass, but believe me, if I could just talk constantly, I could talk your ear off into the void, especially about Star Wars. It is the greatest film series in the world. For better or worse, it is the biggest, the greatest. I don't think there's many parts of the world you can go to now where you won't see something to do with Star Wars. Because I see it in random shops. I see like random packages, like old toy cubs and stuff. Like I used to walk home and I'd see like Star Wars toy like packages. Someone's dumped it in one of the drain pipes and all. It's just everywhere, man. Star Wars is ultimately, I think, the biggest thing in cinema to unite most of the world. And unfortunately, what comes with that is the weight of expectation, and then we led to the plethora of issues that we have encountered in how the fandom reacts to everything that gets made now. But they don't have to be issues. They can just be missteps. They can be the start of something more. Because as far as I can see, we can only improve from here. And we have been improving. Lightsaber battles was such a big thing for me. The sequels, man, how they didn't have a lightsaber fight worthy within them anywhere. Just one as a male fan of this damn series. Why didn't Why didn't Star Wars have big clash with glow sticks? But there's a few things you need. If you're gonna have a Star Wars story with lightsabers, you need something to pull it off. And character stories like someone being handed a buttload of power aren't good enough anymore. They don't fit right. They don't seem right. And ultimately, when we're watching, we want more. We want every lightsaber strike to mean something. We want stakes on the line that mattered. We want characters like no good for nothing smugglers, people who have lost everything like Leia, and kids from the middle of the universe that are meant for nothing, suddenly discovering that they are the most important people to exist. We don't have stories like that to the degree I think they should be told anymore. We are so ready to give up on, or at least actively go out and hate the things that we love so much. And you know what, guys? I don't think it's good enough anymore. I think we can do a bit better than that. And of course, if you're a much longer term fan than I, and are going to tell me you're wrong, then help me understand why. Because there's a lot of screaming going on, and you know what? I don't have time to listen to it. I need your understanding. I need your help. I need your help. Because I'm just trying to enjoy this thing I love, man, and I feel like a criminal for it. Again, I disagree with so much of what's been made. Like the sequels were at best a emulation of something we love to the degree that we do. That we're always coming for you, Disney. You know, like it's just we're ungrateful, spoiled children, and we just expected a bit more. You can't PG down every story. It just can't happen. It sucks. It's boring. We want those stories that we grew up with. And when the audience changes from us to the next generation of kids who have no problem watching these new Star Wars films, thinking, yep, these are as amazing as we saw the prequels. And for those parents who had to sit through them with us and considered them so horrible, you know, that they were the same. They were like, these are nowhere near as good as what we got. And I really do dread the day that we all kind of wake up and suddenly, oh no, the sequels are good actually, Dad. I'll be like, what the hell are you talking about, son, daughter? We'll see it from a whole different perspective. But if my dad, right, can enjoy the finale to his beloved series, then I can learn to enjoy the things that I hated so much about the films we have, which I've tried to do. My perspective is just one, and as someone who was there, he lived through all of those films, man. Like, he was there. He was an OG. Oh man, what it would have been like to see these as they came out, to experience them, you know, raw in cinemas. Oh, what I'd give to have the experience of having done that. Oh, it would be an honor. But I missed it. Too young. And that's fine. You know, ultimately, I don't mind that so much. But I have someone here who did live through it. I look at my dad and I'm like, man, you were there. You saw everything firsthand. It's pretty cool, you know. Like, my dad's an OG. But But then I realized at some point, wow, Dad does not care about these as much as I thought he did. In fact, I care about it more than he did. He just kind of passed on the torch by giving that love to me. And the problem is oops, sorry Dad, the prank's not over. It seems I'm not growing out of it. I think it took him a long time to realize why I'm so invested in the stories rather than what's right in front of me. And honestly, as life goes on, man, it's not getting better. But I still have my stories. And I still have people that I can share it with. And I live with some of them now. Like, it's... My dad gave that to me. My passion to share what I love with these people. And to not be ashamed of it. It took me a while to realize, and for him to realize, but, you know, ultimately, it worked out. And, yep, we all want to be a part of those stories. And there's nothing embarrassing. It's just kind of... I think it's more normal that we want to be a part of those stories, like the way we are. But not, obviously, actually a part of those stories. We'd all be useless, okay? We'd get killed by Vader or a random stormtrooper. We'd be those people. But to have a piece of it at home, or in my case, a lot of pieces of it at home, like something as simple as toy Lego. Well, what's so bad about that? This is our time. This is how we choose to celebrate it. No one else can take that away from you, by the way. And Lord knows some people have tried to take it away from me, and I have not let them do it. I just can't give it up. It's in my blood, almost. These stories mean too damn much. Make me think I can be something more. And when you grow up and realize it's really hard to be something more than what you are, they at least make it okay. Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. That is my favorite piece of the saga, of everything, of Star Wars, right? That's my bit. That bit's mine. That's for me. That's how much I love this franchise and how much I love his Obi-Wan. I wanted to be an adult like Obi-Wan was, you know? He's constantly laughing, he takes things seriously, he inspires people look up to him. Like, it's important. He's important. And you find out that there's this whole freaking era of wacky kids out there that feel the same way you do. Oh, dude. That these stories are more important than anything. Oh, dude. It's a good feeling. Until you enter the disagreement phase, when you realize the fandom's ugly and it's harsh and it's coming for you. It's coming for everything you love about it, and people are going to make sure you know that. Have I messed up again? No, I haven't. We're all good. We're all good. Just double checking. Calm down, everyone. You in the back. Calm yourself. Yeah, I'm not going to go back into the state of the fandom or anything like that. It's honestly barely an opinion I've been forming. It's more of a... just kind of sad that we don't have more. And I'm kind of sad that they're right. That the quality expected didn't come out so as it should have. But we are in control now. We determine everything, and they listen to everything. But when you got characters that can survive through anything, that lose meaning over time, like Order 66 means nothing anymore. The amount of Jedi that have survived through that are still currently living. Those stories have not been resolved. Yeah. then it does dampen what we thought we knew, because it's kind of showing new watchers, we know more than you ever did. And it's like, but we've paid attention. We've been here for it, and now you're just retconning a bunch of stuff. And it's like, yeah, but Ahsoka, and it's like, yeah, great Ahsoka, which is a great character, by the way, but it's not a character worthy of surviving past things like Order 66. Like, we have so much, I guess, importance on that singular event, because it wiped away the universe as this story knew it. And now it's just feeling like, nah, it didn't matter that much. But Ahsoka, man, Ahsoka is the pinnacle of it. I didn't actually enjoy that episode in Mando Season 2 as much as I should have. And then she just shows up like it's nothing later. We have not seen the first meeting of Ahsoka Tano and Luke Skywalker, and that baffles me. How do you mess that up so? Because we're not going to see it, right? They're just going to know each other. And maybe that comes from a state of like, there's nothing we could do to create that will live up to what you hope for. So we don't do it. We don't attempt to do it. And you know what? I'd agree with you to some variation, to some varying degree. That's what I'm trying to say. But you can't do that. We are ready for more, and we want to be included in an ever-expanding universe. But if you keep making us angry by, I guess, betraying everything we know, last bag, by the way. This is an hour 36 minutes in, and 33 seconds. Last bag, number 6. Wow, it is small. Aren't they just smaller than you think so? Than you think they're gonna be? Like, oh god, that collector series is lovely though. What I'd give to have that. I guess money, but I'm not willing to give that. Yeah. I wish this was more of a discussion or a rambling of my thoughts on what I would do to make it better. But making films is hard, if you haven't noticed. Making games is hard. Like, reality is, I'd probably make it worse if I tried to. Or at least it would be a giant boring mess of fan service or things I thought would be good, or, you know, plots that go in directions that I enjoy, but then ultimately hate because I know I haven't done something properly, or worse, you end up bringing the fandom down on top of yourself, which is, it's over, man. It's over if that happens. But there are stories I really think I could tell as this random fan, as no more than a fan, right? Not like as if I could do it better than anyone else. I can't. I'm not a filmmaker, though. Believe me, my friends told me I should, the way I talk. Man, even that sounded, you know, ooh, can you smell that smoke? I'm blowing up my own ass. I just would like a little bit more, and I believe I have the insight to know what to do there as a fan. Nothing more than a fan. Man, I'm sure everyone else has fantasized about this. I might not sort this. I kind of like this little bit here, because it'll make it take a little bit longer if it's not sorted. I've had ideas, man, for a Starkiller show. I've had ideas. Like, each episode is him hunting a different Jedi. I think they struck gold with the idea that Vader had an apprentice, and that apprentice gathered all of the enemies of the Empire into one place, and instead of it going to plan, they all escape. And now Vader's like, I just united all my enemies. Instead of eliminating them. Oh, I just think that's a hilarious sense of like self-destruction that Vader didn't even know he could accomplish. because everyone's like Starkiller's overpowered. He's powerful, right? But I think there's an easy way to translate it into live action, and that's to just do it that way. Just do it. Just give us sequences that at least look realistic enough that we can um, represent him properly through it. Like we can see him. What the hell is that piece telling me to do? Oh, I see. Like that. Right. Um, just do it. Make him go ape shit on a bunch of people, and then call it a day, and then move into whatever story you think you need to tell. Because, man, stories like Starkiller. Oh shit! Hold on. I skipped. I just went to the next page. Um, what's here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, Stories like Starkillers, man, they're fascinating. The idea that Vader had a secret apprentice, and this apprentice ultimately led to the meeting of. Oh, I've stuffed this up. Yep, that's okay though. I'll fix it. There we go. Like the meeting of the rebellion was like the Empire's fault. Does no one else want to see that made? And then turns out a bunch of people want to see that made, but everyone's too scared that of Starkiller looking weaker, and I think they're right to be, because new characters can't look worse than old characters at the moment. It shows up all the time. Like Ahsoka survives in Order 66, um, and then Mando, and oh man, like you want to explain to me why Boba frickin' Fett was struggling with a teen on Oh, hello man. Cool build, bro. I love this shit. Love watching it. Best of luck with your life, man. Number 73. That might be the nicest comment I've had since I started Twitch. Star Wars is the shit, man. We love it. And I think to a point that sometimes we don't know why we love it. And the politics have become so exhausting. To get told you're wrong. To just not enjoy a universe that is set up, that is constantly changing and not always for the better. You're allowed to be upset about that. You're allowed to be annoyed about it. Hello, roommate. How do you do?
Would you like to see the artwork?
New tattoo? Yes. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, Will.
I was using the coaster. Glenn got me.
Oh,
Connor got me
yeah.
to balance it, and I don't know where it is.
No, it must have went like down.
Oh! Oh!
Oh no.
Bro, I need the desk. Oh, I hope Lego didn't go anywhere. It probably did.
Fucking jumped up, man.
I think it's gone forever. Oh. What happened? Did it fall again?
Yeah, it just fell down a little bit. It's okay.
Nope, don't know where that is.
What if you're a brain?
Nope.
So if they use it to pull out these.
Just gonna borrow his for now. It's all good.
I feel like going
It's all good. Oh!
Well, yes, I'll leave you back to it.
Yeah, cheers. Oh, Jesus. Nice tattoo. No, thank you. Cheers. Alright, fucking technical difficulties. This is where we're at. We're all good. I don't think I lost any Lego. I'll let you guys know. Jesus. If I did, I'll watch the VOD back. Whoops. That was a nice comment, man. That really summed me through the loop. That was very nice. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. That was a first. Yeah. My favorite ship is the U-Wing. As I said earlier, I fucking love the U-Wing, dude. The U-Wing is so awesome. I don't know, it's a troop carrier, it looks cool, it freaking extends its two front prongs out, so it looks more like a plane, like, oh, I love the U-Wing with all my heart. It is phenomenal shit, man. And it's just kind of in the background of Rogue One, really. I hope it shows up in Andor Season 2. I haven't watched it yet, which is a crime, I know, believe me. I'm waiting for my partner to finish so I can watch it with her. She's 3 episodes from finishing Season 1 of Andor. Man, people that say Andor is the worst part of Andor, get out of here, dude. He is one of those guys just literally in the universe trying to survive it. Of course, the more interesting characters are going to be the ones already, you know, they're already in the fight. They're already involved. They already know what's at stake. That's well and good, but I like characters that are just trying to make their way through, you know. The little guys. The guys that Luke. The guys that we root for. And Cassian is by no means a perfect person. So that's awesome. We have characters that are struggling just to remain good in a universe that is just full of bad guys. You gotta draw the line somewhere, and it's nice to see Cassian doing that, especially when, you know, that guy, I don't remember his name, but he offered to split the money that they'd stolen and fly off, but he needed a pilot, so Cassian shoots him and leaves them with the money. Could have taken it off with every fucking scrap they earned, but he didn't. It's good to see characters that look out for themselves, that just aren't dicks, you know. And that's Andor. That's Cassian. I have a D&D character named after Cassian. So imagine my eyes rolling when I made a D&D character named Cassian. He's an Owlin. And then I read Akatar series after that, and I'm like, oh god. Now people are gonna think, oh, that Cassian. No, didn't mean that Cassian. though Cassian Novakta is indeed a peak person. He's just a little bit. Sometimes he's dumb, but I like his inner monologue. That guy notices so much more than you realize he did. Cassian is an observant motherfucker. I'm getting over this face smell. This is the wrong place to do it. I'm reading. I betrayed you guys a little bit. I'm like halfway through Silver Flames. I'm sorry. I was gonna read stream it. I said it ages ago that I would, but I started one day and I couldn't put it down, man. I will be doing Mistborn on the channel. Take that with a grain of salt. But that's next, that series. Because my friend is very much into Mistborn, and he's got no one to pretty much. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Let's go, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Are you telling me nothing goes on these yellow pieces? Huh, nothing goes on those pieces. Fair enough. Slave one's finished, lads. That's a sick build, dude. Pew, 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 pew. Wow. You guys know what sound I'm trying to emulate. You know. I don't need to tell you. You know. Alright. Almost there. We are chugging along. Maybe I should turn the light on. Starting to not be able to see. But we're on. You know, we don't have that much left. That's fine. Should probably put that in view somewhere. People know what they're looking at when the video comes on. If you're someone in the far future looking back at whatever the hell it is I'm doing with my life, know that I don't regret it. Stuff like this. I've had no way to communicate so much of what's inside me until my friend said, I'm gonna do Twitch, I'm gonna do it right. And I said, cool, can I do it with you? Yeah, man. And then suddenly we've exploded. I've got 80 something videos on the YouTube channel now, I think, which means at least I think seven, at least 80 streams. Which is wild, dude. I have never committed to anything like that. And like I said, it's all for my own head. I get to talk into the ether. And sometimes people talk back, and that's nice, but it's for myself, it's for fun. It's cool. I just ranted on Star Wars in circles for ages, and there's a chance that someone might be watching that might enjoy that. uh, and I invite disagreements, not to the level that some of the fandom is so bloody, intense about, but I invite disagreements with the things that I care about the films, with the things that I care about in the films, because I'm wrong to so many degrees these days that it's not funny. But one thing I can safely say I'm confident on most of the time is that I am so very confident about Star Wars. I enjoy it more than I enjoy anything else in terms of being a part of a fandom. It's fulfilling to be a part of something that feels so complete most of the time. Uh, and then there's sharing it. I've shared with my partner all of Star Wars. Everything that's out so far, except for like the Christmas specials and stuff, because I'm not an idiot. And I wanted to keep watching, not run away. There's something special about sharing it with a fan, man. She showed me Doctor Who. New Who, not Old Who. I'm sorry. I'll never watch it. I can't do it. um, and I showed her Star Wars, and man, and she goes, "Man, my favorite's Qui-Gon." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Why would you do that, to yourself?" Because Qui-Gon is a fantastic character, right? But I'm like, man, I couldn't make him my favorite, knowing what I know, because it's over. Well, maybe not anymore after that Obi-Wan show, that atrocity. And my favorite thing in Star Wars, as I just said, was Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. So I was ecstatic when he was coming back. But when you cut funding and give a smaller window and less budget to something that should have your full prioritized attention, and hell, he could have had a trilogy. Oh, imagine that, an Obi-Wan trilogy. that would probably be complete by now. It would all be out by now. But it means nothing's impossible anymore, and we're elevating the story in ways we don't like. Um, I'm very biased. I cannot talk objectively about the Obi-Wan show, so I don't think I ever should. I hate it. I think it was done to such a in such a poor quality manner that I hate the way it's shot. I hate the camera work especially. I hate that we invented a character to share screen time with when Obi-Wan is something that can occupy the screen 100% of the time, you know. I can't handle stories shared, especially with new ones with characters that mess up. And the Reva's actress is such a powerhouse, man. She can handle anything you give her, but unfortunately they handed her a poor character. I do not want Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan sharing the screen with some random Inquisitor we haven't heard of yet, and then expected to just, oh yeah, she's a vital part of things, and then she's out there and she's alive somehow too. People's criticisms are valid about lightsabers. They're like baseball bats or something. They're like, you know, when you get shot with an arrow and you're like, oh, just pull it out. That's what it feels like. That's what the wounds leave over right now. Um, I will never disagree with someone in terms of the state of lightsabers. They are very unscary anymore. They are not the ultimate weapon. They are survivable. And people are like, oh yeah, technology evolves and all. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Have you seen Star Wars? Everyone uses the same technology. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. It's the style of the films. So don't mess with that, you know. Well, I blew through this really quickly. Um, oh, I see. I like this. They give you a little speeder. How good's that? For holding up the ship. That's a clever way to make a stand that isn't a stand. Oh, and that's it. No kidding. And then we make the little pods, little proton bombs. Two of them, no less. No more, no less. Two of them there are. Oh god, I have a feeling I was supposed to. Hmm. Oh, that's so good. I love that. So that's like all friction, that little mechanism. That's so good. I love that. Thank you. I loved it. Wow. Are you telling me I can only put two in? Is that what you're telling me? Or just one? You gave me two. Okay, you gave me two, which implies that I can fit two in there. That would be extremely anticlimactic and annoying. Or you can fit two, but just barely. It kind of sticks out a little. That sucks a little bit. That's annoying. But I guess, you know, only one pops out. But don't make us two then. Make us one. And then, yep, the little bullets. Just down here. And she's near complete, lads. Oh, wait, just making sure I didn't miss anything. Yep. Alright. And oh, nearly put Lama Sue's pants on backwards. He looks pretty cool. I like him. I know you can't see shit, I'm sorry. Um, this is really just me chilling out. I'm gonna put him on these little speeder. I'm coming, sir. Just let me park your car for you. Then we don't want the kid to be built, so we build Boba next. How cool would it be to have a replica of Jango's backpack? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Never had a Jango. This is awesome. He is the man, dude. He is the coolest bounty hunter. Like, period. Ugh. I wonder if there's a spot to put his guns. There probably is. And there he is. Greatest bounty hunter in Star Wars history. Meeting him was so awesome. Oh, I didn't finish the story about meeting him. I met Tamura Morrison, and he was really tired in the morning. When I met him for the signing, and uh, and I was like, oh man, okay. But then when I went to see him for the photo, he was full of energy. How's it going, bro? How you doing? And oh, dude, it was so awesome. I think he was just, because I was near the front of the line. The people ahead of me weren't that great. And then there was a guy that came up in front of all of us, and he had like 20 freaking things in his suitcase for the guy to sign. Oh, that would piss me off too. Um, but hey, we are built, lads, to varying degrees of success. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of spare parts. Like that's a lot of spare parts for what that is. Doesn't seem that crazy. But we can prop him in. Dude, he fits so snug. That's pretty cool. Or does Boba sit down? Jango sit down? I think he does. Yeah. I've got an idea. Can you? Can you hang on to his guns, Boba? I think he can, like in the back seat. Dude, he totally can. Boba can hold on to his guns. It's kind of funny. Hold on to my hair, son. Yo, what, Dad? Don't worry about it. But yeah, he was so awesome, dude. It was great. After that initial encounter, it was a bit I was a bit iffy, but dude, best sound design in Star Wars 2. Fucking awesome. That's the slave one. There you go. Thumbnail. Thumbnail. Poor quality. But hey, I've rented a lot. This was awesome. And I'm having a lot of fun. So why don't I just leave it things here? Thanks for listening. I needed someone to, and that was awesome. Thank you. Pick one up. It's pretty cool. Get it cheaper if you can, because dear Lord, Lego's expensive. I want my clone troopers, but the packs are like $50. It sucks. Alright. Uh, have a good one. I hope you have a good night or day, wherever the hell you are in the world, in a galaxy far, far away. Second best ship in Star Wars.